On January 3, 2026, the United States conducted a major military operation against Venezuela in the early hours of the morning. According to U.S. President Donald Trump, large-scale strike was carried out against Venezuelan targets, including in the capital Caracas, during which President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, were captured and flown out of the country by U.S. forces. Trump described the operation as successful and said, U.S. would temporarily govern Venezuela to ensure a transition. The U.S. government has announced that Maduro is in U.S. custody and will face charges there, though full independent verification from Venezuelan authorities is limited and some details remain unofficial. The operation built on months of escalation, including strikes against drug trafficking targets and deployment of U.S. naval and air assets in the Caribbean. A U.S. bounty on Maduro's capture had been raised repeatedly, reaching $50 million by mid-2025, tied to long-standing narcotics and terrorism indictments in U.S. courts. The specific Special Forces units involved haven't been officially detailed, but reports suggest elite U.S. forces executed a swift raid. This style of targeted regime operation, involving strikes, rapid capture, and extraction, had not occurred in Latin America at this scale since the 1989 U.S. intervention in Panama. According to U.S. officials and statements by the Trump administration. Criminal charges. Maduro and his wife are indicted in U.S. courts on charges including narcoterrorism, drug trafficking conspiracy, and related offenses that allegedly link the Venezuelan state to criminal networks. Pressure campaign. For months, the U.S. had imposed sanctions, seized Venezuelan oil tankers, and carried out military pressure operations aimed at weakening Maduro's regime. Regional strategy. White House policymakers framed the operation as part of a broader effort to confront criminal influence, curb migration and drug flows, and reassert U.S. strategic influence in the Western Hemisphere. The operation has prompted widespread criticism and concern. Russia condemned the strike as armed aggression and a violation of sovereignty. United Nations leaders warned it sets a dangerous precedent for international law, with a UN Security Council meeting scheduled to address the crisis. Some U.S. politicians, including members of both major parties, have expressed alarm about war powers and lack of congressional authorization. Regional actors have issued mixed statements, with some Latin American leaders calling for respect for sovereignty and others cautious about Maduro's legitimacy. Venezuela's government rejected the U.S. narrative and demanded proof of life for Maduro and his wife, calling the strikes illegal and imperialistic. The unfolding situation has several potential scenarios. 1. Legal proceedings. Maduro is expected to face U.S. criminal charges in federal court, likely related to narcotics and terrorism accusations that have been pending for years. 2. Power vacuum and internal dynamics. Venezuela's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, claimed Maduro is still the rightful president and demanded proof of life, while the military remains a powerful institution on the ground. This raises the risk of internal instability or competing military and political factions. 3. Political transition and U.S. role. Trump has stated that the U.S. will oversee Venezuela during a transition, including reviving oil production and perhaps backing opposition figures. This direct involvement is unprecedented and will likely drive ongoing diplomatic battles over sovereignty and legitimacy. 4. Regional and global impact. Protests and political mobilization in Venezuela could increase. Latin American and Caribbean nations may push for regional solutions or express solidarity with Caracas. The crisis could affect migration flows, oil markets, and U.S.China/Russia geopolitical competition. Stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching News Simplified.